opportunity and change is always terrifying. It's not always the easiest path, but it's always rewarding. And the worst thing you can ever do, I feel like, is not do it, because then you're telling yourself no, and you're always going to be wondering what if.
Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Forziat of Take the Doughnut, here to help you get inspiration and get donuts. I'm a motivational keynote speaker, and today I'm bringing you a Take the Doughnut interview with Clarissa Solomon, who is the campus store and mail print services manager for Southwestern Oregon Community College. Welcome, Clarissa.
Oh, thank you.
So exciting to talk with you. I'm really looking forward to hearing your answers to my questions here. And the first one, of course, is very simple. What's your favorite donut?
Probably. Well, okay. So in my hometown, which is Reedsport, Oregon, we have a donut shop called Sugar Shack, and it's famous over here. And they have a bear paw, and so it's literally like a Bigfoot donut, and it's filled with cream, and it has maple on top, and it looks like a foot.
Ooh, shout out to Sugar Shack.
Yeah.
So good. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So I said just a little bit about you up front, but tell us more about yourself. What should we know about you?
I am a highly motivated, achieving person. I don't do well being stagnant. Um, so in the course of education, which is where I work at now, but as a student, right? I graduated high school. Um, and then I went and I got my associates from the school I work at now, which is Southwestern Oregon Community College. I transferred and went to Eastern Oregon University online and got my bachelor's in liberal arts. Um, Last year, I graduated with an associate's and a certificate from here again for digital design. So I'm always doing something.
You are definitely the right person to talk to for this conversation about going after opportunity. So let me reset this for people who have not heard of Take the Doughnut before.
Sure.
So for me, Take the Doughnut is an expression. It's the same thing as carpe diem. It comes from this very strange thing that happened to me in college where I left an actual donut on the table, but it became an object lesson for me in what it looks like to leave opportunities behind. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to take the donut instead. I'll link a video here for those who haven't seen that origin story before. But basically, this is a whole conversation about what it looks like to go after opportunity in life, what that really entails, practically speaking. So let's start with this. How are you with going after goals? What is that process like for you?
I am very big into, oh my God, manifesting. And so what that looks like for me is I really take some time to think about what it is I truly want. Um, and then what does that look like? I don't try to control how that comes to me, but what does that look like? And that's actually how I found this job. I've worked a lot of customer service since I was 15. But when I was starting to look for this specific position, I was an assistant manager at Fred Meyer's, which is Kroger as well. Um, and I enjoyed the retail life, but I didn't enjoy missing holidays with my family. And I realized that family time is really important to me. But I like retail because it's always evolving, always changing. My brain does well with that. And so I was just kind of like, how cool would it be to have a job that's in retail that has the weekends and every holiday off, so you always have time with your family, that pays well, but then is always changing. So I didn't want to be in a little store. And then I was just dinking around on Indeed, and I just happened to see this job description that was bookstore and mail and print services manager. And it's at a college. So you have the holidays off, you have the weekends off, and the college store, the general merch part of it, that is retail. And I was a student for a lot of years, as we heard. So I know how much course materials the cost can really be a struggle. And so I was like, I have an opportunity to make a difference. So I just put in for it and completely forgot about it. And then a couple months later, I got a phone call for an interview. So, and then obviously I landed here 5 years ago. So
What a cool story. And I love the way your brain works, because you had a lot of specifics of what you were looking for in terms of the shape of it, but you didn't make decisions about what would fill that shape. It just sort
yeah,
of, the thing that needed to be there was, you knew all the criteria because you had already decided that. I sort of do a similar thing. So I can really connect to that. I love it. When you think about going after something really big, something that's going to take, a lot of time, a lot of effort, maybe a lot of skill building or networking, what keeps you motivated in the process?
this is gonna sound really cheesy because I read a lot of self improvement stuff, but why? Why are you doing it? Because when you get through those times that are really hard and you're pushing and you're at that breaking point, going back to why you're doing it, is huge. Like my digital design degree, this job I'm in is 45 to 50 hours a week. And then I was going to school part-time, 12, about 8 credits a term. And there was times where it's just like, why am I doing this to myself? But there was like, it was a sense of security for me. Like I have digital design to fall back on that can be used in so many aspects, and it's creative. If something was to happen with campus stores, because they were going away, going away in the sense of a lot of colleges were selling out their stores to third parties. And that's scary because then like what happens to here? What happens to me? Like, and so I was just like, I don't want to be in that what if. I want to have a backup plan. So when I was going for that degree for digital design, I was just, when I hit those breaking points, for example, I was just like, I'm doing this to give myself security. And it's just got to be a strong reason.
It's so good. And it's actually, the way you think about that is kind of similar to how you answered the first one, in that like you have it's always the why, but the why might be different from one to the next.
Yeah.
So yeah. So when you are going after things that you want, for a lot of us, we go after goals and an obstacle comes in our way.
Mhm.
Happens all the time, right? I'm wondering for you if there's a particular brand of challenge that just keeps coming up over and over, no matter what it is you're doing. So is there like an Achilles heel for you in taking the donut?
I will push to the bitter end. And sometimes when you're hitting resistance, I like to think that that's like the universe telling you, like, yeah, maybe that's not the way. Maybe there's another way. But I'm so headstrong that it takes me until I'm like to the bitter end to realize that that's what's happening. Because I'm just thinking, oh, we can just persevere. We can just go through. We can just run through this. And then it's like, oh, you mean there's an easier way that we could have done this? And I should have just stepped back for a minute and saw that. Oh, okay.
Raise your hand if you relate to that. Yep.
Yep.
This is like, oh, you're telling me I shouldn't do this. So that must be all the great stories come from people getting past this point.
Hmm.
But you're telling me that's a life lesson. Okay. All right. Fair enough. If you look back on your life, uh, you can answer this, with personal or professional donut, but what would you say is the biggest donut that you've ever taken? And this could be from a long time ago, it could be from recently. What comes to mind for you?
Um, a little bit of personal, a little bit of work. So I grew up in a family that was poverty. My mom was the only income. My dad was disabled. We had 7 kids living under one roof. I can only imagine the stress that put on my mother. And I'm the oldest, so it fell to me, right? And there came a point where it's just like, I have a lot of friends that go to drugs and alcohol to deal with this kind of stress. But then there's also, I didn't want to live like that. I didn't want to live in poverty. I didn't want to struggle the same way my mom struggled. And she started going to college when she was doing that on top of working and being a mom and doing, I don't know how she did it. But she started going to college and I saw that as half B. You just got to make it through and do your best. And then I was like, if you go to college, you can get a better paying job better paying job means you're not living in poverty. And so I just distinctly remember there just like aha moment of, oh, okay, that's how we're gonna get through this. That's how we're not gonna live in this food insecurity and listening to the money struggle. That's how we're gonna get through, is we're gonna do the things at school, get where we need to be, push yourself for college, go for the job that you want.
Mm.
So
Wow. I mean, that's a lifelong donut to take, really.
yeah.
I mean, do you feel like you've taken it or it's still in progress?
Um, I'm constantly always keeping options open. Not that I'm not happy where I'm at. Um, but I look at other job descriptions and there's not another one that I want. So, right now I'm happy, but my job's always evolving and it's always changing. And I think that that's hard to find in a lot of places. I think I'll get bored if it's ever stagnant.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Amazing. I mean, so in terms of things that you're working on now, is there a donut that is in progress for you? Is there something that you have in mind that you're working towards? Could be personal or professional.
My biggest donut is I tend to be a workaholic. That's how I deal with stress. I just focus on what I'm doing and just try to power to it. And so the donut I'm trying to take right now is the opportunity to allow myself to step back and know that, maybe that can wait, and maybe taking care of yourself is more important right now than trying to push through that task that's could just be there tomorrow and it's fine. So
Yeah.
that's my donut personally, is just learning to de-stress and
Yeah.
step back.
Little time for recovery, a little time for self-care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can relate to that. You start off, and especially if you're somebody who, it sounds like you have like a real focus and a tunnel vision for the things that you want. And a lot of times with that, you can really let go of the things that you need to do for your body and your mind to sustain the pace that you're working at. So I love
Yeah.
that that's a focus for you right now. You know, there may be people out there who have a donut they want to take, and maybe that's still just an idea for them. Maybe they've started towards it, but they're not sure, like how to get the energy to keep moving forward. So let's sprinkle some encouragement. And what would you say to those people who have that donut they want to take and they just need some guidance, some encouragement to get there?
Opportunity and change is always terrifying. It's not always the easiest path, but it's always rewarding. And the worst thing you can ever do, I feel like, is not do it, because then you're telling yourself no, and you're always going to be wondering what if. So it might be hard right now and it might be scary right now, but like, what about 5 years from now when you've accomplished it? What then? Or if you didn't, what did you learn from it that got you better to go where you want to go next? Could just be a step along the way.
That's so good. Um, it's true. I mean, yeah, I think a lot about like what would regret look like in the future based on the decision moment that I'm in right now. Like
Yeah.
which way will lead to the most fulfilling outcome. I love how you put that. So for those who want to follow you on your journey, who want to see what you're up to next, where can they find you? And this is, like also just so it's been said, like we're connecting as well because I'll be doing a keynote for an upcoming event for you. So let us know, where we can find you and what you have going on.
Sure. So, if you're part of the Northwest College Bookstore Association, or you're a campus store worker along the Northwest of the United States, um, I'm on the board. So, our website, you can find my information on there, which is the ncba.memberclicks.net. Um, Otherwise, I'm here on Southwestern Oregon Community College's campus. The campus store has a Facebook and an Instagram, which is just SWOCC and campus store. We're always posting what we're doing, different things there. But yeah, that's really where you can find me, is just hunkered down in what I'm doing.
Perfect. Well, I can put any links to those things in the resources, and I hope everybody will check that out, especially if you're local and you're looking for books.
Or clothing or
This is-
swag or just whatever.
any of those things, I'm telling you, this is the place to be. So everybody be sure to check out those resources. And if you liked watching this video, be sure to like and subscribe. There's so many inspirational interviews still to come. But in the meantime, Clarissa, thank you so much for taking some time and chatting with me about taking the donut and going after what you want.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And to everybody who's listening, you know what to do. Go out there, get inspiration, get donuts. Bye, everybody.